There's a really weird thing that I'm sure you've noticed in others, not the least because you've probably said it more than a few times yourself. I have. It's this. Oh, I'd really love to do X, but it's so difficult. I'd love to find a life companion, but it's so difficult. I'd love to meditate first thing in the morning, but it's so difficult. I'd love to exhibit my art, but it's so difficult. It's challenging. It's a problem. It's tricky. It's hard. I've just got to figure it out, sort it out, or push on through. Now, you might be right about your assessment, but first let's look more closely, shall we? At this point, some might point to procrastination, and then we'll go on to investigate theories that explain why people procrastinate. Others might turn to self-help books that promise to show you how to overcome these obstacles. Reasonable enough, both, but let's look closer still before we follow either of these lines. What if you really don't love X, whatever that X may be? Perhaps for years you've been telling yourself that you love this thing or that you really want it. But what if you really don't? Perhaps what you've been telling yourself just isn't true. This may be a tough pill to swallow. If so, why is that? Because, no doubt, you've, and I myself perhaps, have for the longest time been committed to the identity that's bound up with loving pickleball or AI or effective altruism or meditation or Bitcoin. And let's go deeper because really surrendering that identity may feel like something inside you is dying, may feel like the death of someone, indeed, someone very important. The curious thing, though, is that if you're really willing to sacrifice this particular ego, then you'll discover a taste of genuine freedom. But to come to that discovery, you'll first have to let go. I mean, to really let go, to prise your fingers white knuckled off of it, to surrender to not knowing. And from the vantage point of the one who's often said that he or she loves this, but it's so difficult, that death, that ego death, may seem unbearable. That leap backward and upward, unfathomable. It's not. It's really not. In truth, it's sweet. It's an invitation to drop the unnecessary burden and to embrace genuine clarity. Why genuine clarity? Because on the other side of that ego-constructed dilemma, I love this, but it's so difficult, is the actuality of love. Oh, one might say thereafter, what I really love is now present in my actual experience. And like any true Taoist, I don't find myself resisting at all now. In fact, I very quietly go along with or flow with the way of things. Here, you haven't fished around for something new, haven't discovered your purpose or your calling that is anything grand. Instead, you've dropped the confusion, the logjam, The ego-induced and thus needless, and it should be stated entirely fictional dilemma. Honestly, it's not as if on the other side everything is peachy keen. There are problems that show up, but they're met in stride and as such are hardly worth speaking of. In this sense, they feel less like obstacles and more like rocks you flow around. And the biggest thing is that on the other side, there's no refrain, no broken record, no wishes, no fantasies, and no excuses. What I'm describing is at once powerful, natural, and easy. And so if you dare to ford this river, you'll be met not with the abyss, as the ego imagines, but with a big welcome. Trust me. No, trust yourself.